when I moved up to Saigon in January of 1971, I renewed my interest in Lei Sun and got in contact with her and asked her out. And she suggested going to a club called the Club Nautique, water sports club on the Saigon River, very exclusive. That not that she belonged to it, but her two cousins with whom she lived, the daughters of the South Vietnamese Minister of Labor, they had a membership, so we all could go. I happened to have a car, which was an essential element of this, and she said, can you find a friend to date one of her two cousins, and that they had another individual who we could pick up and who would go with us, and I assume would be the date for the other cousin. So the day comes, I get my friend, fellow Foreign Service officer named Pat Garland, and we have like a 1961 Ford Fairlane with a bench seat you can put 3 people on, and in the front, and drive up to the house, the home of the Minister of Labor. And out comes Lei Sun with these 2 other young women who I had met before. Pat Garland steps out of the car, opens the door. So presumably Lei Sun can get in the front, sit next to me, and the other 2 will get in the back. Except that the older of her 2 cousins gets in the front and sits next to me, and Lei Sun and the other cousin get in the back. And so I'm not sure what's going on, a little perplexed, but maybe it's a Vietnamese thing that the older of the cousins is the ranking person in the family and has to sit in the front. I didn't know, but I figure I'll play along. And they said, well, we have to stop over now at this U.S. Navy officers' quarters, bachelor officer quarters, and we drive over there, and Lei Sun goes in, and she comes out with this young, trim U.S. Navy officer, good-looking guy, like almost all of them were, cut from the same mold, gets in the back, and as we're driving to the Club Nautique, it's becoming apparent to me that maybe the Navy officer is Lei Sun's date, and that the 2 cousins are the one sitting next to me thinks she's my date, and Pat Garland is the date of the other cousin. So we get out to the Club Nautique, and there's a swimming pool and things. Finally, I get in the pool in a corner with Lei Sun, and in Vietnamese I'm saying, what's going on here? And she's saying, oh, I couldn't help it. The trouble is my cousin really likes you, and she wants to be your date, and in the family she outranks me, and I have to do what she says, and so that's what's happened here. So I'm, what? How can this be happening? And we spend the day, we come back to town, we go out to dinner. Finally, I drop everybody off, and thinking this is crazy. And on the way back, her cousin now is sort of sliding over closer to me and leaning her shoulder in, and how did this happen? This is even worse than being told that my Vietnamese is like a country bumpkin. So we had I don't know why, I was so intrigued with her and so taken with her. We arranged now when I was going to pick her up, she'd have to come out and walk a couple of blocks away from the house. I'd pick her up there, we could drive around, we could go out together. And eventually the 2 cousins got the idea that I was really interested in Lei Sun, and things progressed from there to when I went back down to the Chow Duck, she would come down and visit me, and we would become engaged. And then when I was assigned to Washington, we'd get married.